Southern Crossing. Kind of sounds like a whiskey, doesn't it? Like Southern Comfort.
Enjoy a nice smooth glass of Southern Crossing. Whiskey for the working man.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Southern Crossing is actually one of the City of Bend's like neighborhood districts. And to be quite fair, it's probably one of the most hip and fun and happening of all the districts in Bend because of its abundance of amenities. So today, we're gonna talk about it. So Southern Crossing is located kind of in the heart of Bend, but just a little to the south. You see, Old Bend is a neighborhood district in its own right, and we will talk about that later in another video. That kind of includes like downtown area, but this is just below that. And it's actually kind of where all of the new age development has been happening over the last decade or two. Developments such as the Old Mill District, the Box Factory, the Hayden Amphitheater, and well, of course, we've got the Whitewater Park. So we got plenty to talk about. Amenities. I'm telling you, this is the coolest of all the hoods. It's called Southern Crossing, but it might as well be called the Old Mill. So there's the Old Mill, yes, and it's what it is, and then Southern Crossing is just kind of a little bit on the outside of that. So you can't really call it the Old Mill, but the Old Mill is kind of the star of the show here. Forget it. Let's just talk about it. So the Old Mill in its most basic and simple form is really an outdoor shopping mall. Nestled right alongside the Deschutes River in what can only be described as the most natural, picturesque, and beautiful shopping mall experience, outdoor shopping experience you've probably ever had. There's a full movie theater, there's a mix of retail shopping that includes just a little bit of everything. I mean, everything. It's also got a really great selection of restaurants, and you know, just the whole vibe of it is really, really incredible. It's a magical place to go. Whether you're shopping or just going for a stroll, it's still a great place to just go and be and even socialize. But the Old Mill District is technically bigger than just the shopping mall. You see, the wider kind of area, the wider district area of it includes plenty of other things such as there's hotels, there's multiple hotels actually. There's also office spaces and businesses and even condos all in this area. It's a big place. Then adjacent to the Old Mill, directly west across the river, you can literally just walk across the river, you're at the Hayden Homes Amphitheater. And man, has it just been fire recently. So the amphitheater actually opened back in 2002. It's great. Lots of great acts. Not necessarily like the very top, you know, A-list performers, but still lots of great performers. And like I said before, this has been going on for, you know, a decade now. Oh my gosh, 2002. 2 decades. Wow. But then, 2 years ago, I don't really know the full story, but changed sponsorships. It used to be the Les Schwab Amphitheater. Hayden Homes came in, new name. They put a bunch of money into the venue. It's an outdoor amphitheater. Put a bunch of money into it, increased the size of the stage, and they may have even changed kind of like the booking company, the management company that books all the acts, because the last 2 years have been crazy. I mean, top tier A-list performers. Like you hear them on the radio every day, they're coming to Bend to play this weekend. And also, like, the volume of shows has increased dramatically too. It feels like there's a show like every other night. I mean, there must have been 50 concerts last summer. I mean, it's been incredible. Time out. Have you subscribed yet? I'm gonna have to go ahead and ask you to subscribe to the channel. You see, our research shows that only 15% of our views come from our current subscribers, which means there's a whole bunch of people out there who haven't subscribed yet. So, do the thing, I must insist. Subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you are up to date on all of our videos. You see them every week. Thanks. We'll move on now. Finally, the last spot that we should mention is the Box Factory. It's not the last. It's literally a huge old building that they used to make boxes in like 100 years ago. Anyway, the building has been preserved, restored, and now houses a bunch of great retail, shopping, food, and beverage places. And it's become a very, very hip and popular place over the last few years. It has this young, hip vibe, I would suppose, because there is an abundance of adult beverage type tenants there. So there's wine bars there, there are, brew pubs there are regular bars there. But that's not the only reason. There's also some really great food options as well. And it's also across the street on both sides of the building from some really cool, trendy food truck lots and tap houses. So that doesn't hurt. You've got Crosscut to the south, and you've got Podski to the north, and it's just a very cool area. So no matter what you're in the mood for, if you're in the box factory, you're in the right spot. Oh, and don't forget to let me mention that you can literally walk from all of these different locations. I mean, you can go from the amphitheater to the old mill to the box factory really very easily. And you can actually walk to the last place that I forgot to mention we are going to talk about, which is the Whitewater Park. Now, this is truly a one-of-a-kind amenity. So years and years ago, there was a spillway where the Colorado Street Bridge is, and basically the river dropped about 6 to maybe 10 feet, and it was unnavigable. And thanks to a bond measure that passed, Parks and Rec was actually able to blow up the river and turn it into 3 separate channels of the Deschutes. Now, the first one is a series of little mini drops and pools that'll get you through that spillway, which isn't there anymore, safely, right? So you can continue to float through the river in the summertime. It's great. The middle one has 3 much larger drops, and then the third one is more of a natural kind of riparian area. The middle channel actually has a surfing wave in the very middle of it. So you can literally come to Bend and surf all day long, all year long. And there's some crazy people out there that actually surf full on in the winter when it's snowing. Okay, so now I know you want to live here too, right? What an incredible area. The amenities here are truly my favorite in all of Bend. If you said, where were you gonna spend an afternoon if you didn't know where else to go, I'd be walking around that area. So let's talk about the actual neighborhoods that surround this. Because there are, in my mind, 3 kind of primary areas in this neighborhood district, okay? Wood River Village is absolutely the most transformed neighborhood in probably all of Bend. We should probably do a video just on that neighborhood. It might not be very long, but it would look pretty good. So Wood River Village, way back in the day, I mean, it used to just be like a trailer park. I mean, just single wide trailers, or, you know, manufactured homes, and old too. Like, you couldn't even be refinanced, or couldn't even be financed. They weren't financeable. But just look at the surrounding area. Some of these homes are actually on the river, and some of them are across the street from Farewell Bend Park, which is another incredible riverside park. So it completely makes sense that people have bought up most of these old properties and lots and have transformed them into incredible homes right in the heart of that district. All right, the next great area is just up the hill from the Old Mill district, and we kind of like to call it above the Old Mill. That's just kind of what we say. We say, oh, it's above the Old Mill. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Maybe we can pull this up on a map. As you're coming down Reed Market, to the north is a section that is, again, it's above the Old Mill. That's a section that, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated sections in all of Bend. And then to the south, there's another great area there as well, across, along Silver Lake. That heads more over towards Brookswood. And another really, really incredible area. Lots of mature trees. It's just a great spot. The only negative I would have on that is sometimes it can be a little difficult to navigate your way back there. Sometimes the roads don't just kind of kick out to the main artery roads as easily as you'd like. Back to the north section, that place is great. Tell you what, there's a good mix of homes in there. Some of them have been, redone over the past few years. Some of them are still, kind of dated and they're older. Maybe they're an old mill home or something like that, but they're primed for redevelopment or putting some money into and flipping them. That's a really great area because, again, it's like 3 streets: Cleveland, McKinley, and Roosevelt. And you're walking distance from all of those amenities. You can just walk right down the hill. You can hear the concerts like clear as day. Sometimes when you're a little too close to the concert, you're at the concert, your ears ringing. Maybe that's just me because I'm deaf. The concert, you can hear it from your patio. And then from that kind of elevated area above the Old Mill, there's a park bench right there. You can sit and watch the most incredible sunsets. You've got the Old Mill, got the mountains in the background, the river. It's a pretty special place to call home. Then I suppose last but not least, we should probably talk about all of the condos and townhouses that are in this area as well. So being in this really hot part of town does come at a price, and developers over the years have taken advantage of this. The brownstones on Arizona and Colorado, I mean, they're not technically, it's called mill quarter, but they're brick facade brownstone. It's just kind of like, if you know what they are, you know what they are. Those are really, really, really cool. Then there's another development right next to that called Base Camp, which is a little bit more modern, contemporary looking. Then there are some really great condos at the Atrium and the Plaza, and both of those condo developments literally look directly over the Old Mill shopping district and look towards the west. The views are insane. Oh, and then there are townhouses as well that are actually right along the river, kind of mixed in between all of these amenities that we talked about. So between Farewell Bend Park and the Old Mill are a run of townhouses that are right along the water. In between the Old Mill and the Whitewater Park, there are some townhouses right there along the water. Incredible riverfront properties. Okay. I've gushed on long enough about Southern Crossing. If you can't tell, I really like this area. If this sounds like a great area for you, go ahead and reach out. We'd love to hear from you. In fact, actually, this is the part of the video we do our little thing. If you or someone you know is looking to move to Bend, buy or sell here in the area, my team would love to be your local real estate resource of choice. You can easily go to krommrealestate.com and find our contact and reach out to us there, or if you stalk the description of this video hard enough, you'll probably find our contact information there as well. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on all of our other social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, maybe even LinkedIn, and we will see you over on the next video. Cheers. I don't know what that was. I don't know what I'm doing. That was all off script. Let me see if I can do it on script, see if it sounds a little better.